Hello, everybody, and welcome to this brand new edition of UC Sports. I'm William Richardson. Alongside me, we have Molly Burkhardt. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about women's soccer and field hockey. Molly, what else are we talking about?
We're also going to talk about First Night, which was last Friday.
It was a great event. Did you happen to go?
I did, yeah. It was a good time.
I'm glad. Well, that wraps it up. We're going to stick around. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
The triage department in the UConn Student Health Center is the best place to go to for urgent and emergent situations. Walk-in appointments are always available, and a triage nurse will quickly assess your needs and prioritize care. You will then provide your personal and insurance information and be directed to a registered nurse, nurse practitioner, or a physician for further analysis. So the next time you are seeking medical help, consider the UConn Student Health Center and know you will be treated with trusted hands.
And welcome back. I'm here alongside our guest analyst, Cam DeBrusk. Let's go ahead and start talking about women's soccer. But before we get into the analysis, on Sunday, UConn women's soccer played against the 18th ranked UCF. So I was at the game, so let's go ahead and check out that footage.
William Richardson reporting from Joseph Maroney Stadium when the UConn women's soccer team faced off against 18th ranked UCF Knights. This game was a very physical effort, and UConn came out on top by a final score of 1-0. Julie Hubbard scored the lone goal in the game in the 65th minute. It was a shot that didn't look like it had an angle at all, but it just beautifully sailed over the head of the goalie. We were able to talk to Hubbard and Coach Lenson Terrace after the game, so let's check on their thoughts and see what they had to say.
We talk about that. I mean, they saw we didn't pressure the last game. Every time you play a game, you learn from it. I mean, the South Florida is not as good as this team. This team is good, but we broke them down because we fought so hard. We didn't let them play, and we find a way finally to get a goal, an unbelievable shot. But we always were defending and fighting everywhere everywhere. So. And that's the bottom line. You play like that, yeah, we're a good team.
Hubbard with a big goal today. How do you think the seniors played in their final home?
I thought Julie, Raleigh, and Charno, that's their best games. That's by far their best game. There was no weakness on those kids today.
The lone goal in the game. How does it feel to score that type of goal on senior day?
Unbelievable. I mean, there are no words for it. It's been a long career for me, 6 years, ups and downs, and, to finish it like that, it's pretty awesome, pretty special.
Absolutely. Now, in perspective of the game, how did it feel knowing that you guys have been playing a physical game all game, and to get that one goal, what did it feel like in just the game?
I mean, it was obviously a relief, and, ever since then, we just kind of locked it down and played defense from there on out. So I think you saw the intensity rose after that game, and everyone was fighting for each other, playing for each other. We had each other's backs, and, we got it done.
That wraps it up for us here. UConn Huskies' next game is on the road in Philadelphia against Temple. Reporting from Maroney Stadium, I'm William Richardson, and this is UC Sports.
So this past weekend, we saw two games from women's soccer. Friday, they lost 2-0 against USF, And then on Sunday, they upset the 18th ranked UCF Knights, winning by a count of 1-0. So Cam, what's one strength that you've seen from UConn's women's soccer this season so far?
Well, it's definitely their goal scoring. Rachel Hill has had a phenomenal season. Although she did injure her hamstring halfway through the year, she still has 13 of UConn's goals, which is a third of their total. She also has a 20% scoring percentage, and overall the team is averaging 1.9 goals a game. So that's definitely something that they've been looking to do, is jump out early against teams with their phenomenal offensive skill.
Now, with like any team, when you have strengths, you have weaknesses. So what's the one weakness that UConn's portrayed throughout the season so far?
Well, they're definitely a little bit of a one-trick pony as far as scoring goes, where Rachel Hill does have a third of their goal total. When she was out with the hamstring, they did not play well, and when she has been injured, and even though she played with the hamstring injury, she has not played well in those games, and when she doesn't play well, UConn really struggles to score. And also, when UConn jumps out to that early lead, they sometimes play to not lose instead of playing to win, and they get a little bit too comfortable with that lead, and eventually they let the team they're playing get back into that game. And we've seen that with 4 ties on the year. They've let teams catch back up to them later in the game.
Sounds interesting. I think, when you look at UConn women's soccer, it's typically been a thing that's been fairly consistent for the most part. So this year, to see that they have so many ties is something that really kind of caught me off guard. But looking forward to their final game of the season on Sunday against Temple. What do you think the outcome's going to be?
Well, I think that they will beat Temple. Temple is ranked 85, UConn is ranked 36, so obviously they're the favorite, and they have the momentum coming off that upset win against UCF. So I think going into this game, I think they will win, and I think they have to win if they want a good game or a good matchup in the AAC tournament coming up, where they really need that first round win and continue that momentum into the tournament if they want to make the playoffs at the NCAA level.
Absolutely. Well, we wish the best to the women's soccer team. Now we're going to transition to field hockey. Field hockey had 2 games over the weekend, a game on Friday and a game on Sunday. Our very own Hannah Browne was at the game on Friday, so now let's toss it to that clip.
This is Hannah Browne reporting for UCTV Sports from the George J. Sherman Family Sports Complex, where we just watched our number 4 UConn Husky field hockey team take on the number 26 Providence Friars for a 7-1 victory. What started as a slow game with only 1 Huskies goal from freshman Charlotte Vietner picked up in the second half as the Huskies scored 6 additional goals and just 1 goal from Providence. Scoring for the Huskies was junior Sophie Bowden, sophomore Darby Smith, junior Rosen Upton, freshman Kendall Youngblood, and 2 goals for senior Chloe Hunnable. Sophomore Darby Smith and freshman Kendall Youngblood were able to celebrate their first goals of the season with the UConn Huskies. While the UConn Huskies defense played an amazing game by only letting 3 shots on goal, 2 of which our UConn goalie Nina Klein was able to block. After making some diving saves in the second half, she did let 1 goal in by Providence Friar Daniela Bernasconi. The UConn Huskies will be playing again at the George J. Sherman Family Sports Complex this Sunday at 2 p.m. against Yale Bulldogs for their last home game of the regular season, as well as UConn Senior Night. We'll see you then.
Thanks to Hannah for that wonderful analysis of the game. Now it's time for our AAC update with our very own Cheyenne Baker is going to give you guys the update. So Cheyenne, take it away.
Thanks, Will. Here are the highlights of what happened this past week around the AAC. UCF improved to 10-0 all-time in the American Athletic Conference games as the Knights won 20-13 against Tulane. 8 of UCF's 10 AAC wins have been decided by a touchdown or less. USF overcame a 20-point halftime deficit to beat Tulsa 38-30. They trailed 27-7 at halftime, scoring their largest come-from-behind victory in school history. Houston won its 2nd straight game against Temple 31-10. Houston's quarterback, Greg Ward Jr., completed 29 of 33 passes for 268 yards, threw 2 touchdowns and rushed for 44 yards, while their defense forced 4 turnovers. Cincinnati beat SMU 41-3 as the Bearcats gained 508 yards of offense and enjoyed its best defensive effort of the season. Quarterback Gunnar Kiel threw for 241 yards in its league-leading 19th touchdown of the season. Our UConn Huskies did not play this week as they had another bye week. They return to conference play this Thursday when they face East Carolina away. Now for the AAC standings. East Carolina and UCF sit atop the pack, both at 2-0. Houston, Temple, and USF are in second, all at 2-1. Memphis and Cincinnati are 1-1 in third. Tulane and Tulsa are in fourth at 1-2. SMU is 0-2 in fifth place, and our Huskies are at the bottom of the group at 0-3 during conference play. That wraps it up for the AAC update. Now back to you, Will.
Thanks, Cheyenne. Appreciate that. Now it's time for men's soccer highlight. The big news on campus is that recently there was an $8 million donation for the new men's soccer stadium. So we were able to go ahead and get inside of that. So let's go ahead and send it to those highlights.
I'm Cheyenne Baker reporting from outside of the UConn Alumni House, where the university held a press conference today announcing that a new soccer stadium was in the works, thanks to a generous donation from Tony Rizza, a former player.
At some point in time, I'd be able to make a donation. And 2 years ago, I did that, and I did that anonymously, simply because I'm a reasonably private person, and sometimes gifts of that nature are misinterpreted by people, and I just didn't want that to be the case for me, but yet I wanted to give some energy to the effort and see what I can do to help it in that way. That I'm a former student athlete, we need to put an effort together to have more student athletes donate. That I'm a soccer donor, which I guess is a rare species in this world, so I'm one of those.
This gift should send a message that UConn athletics is as strong as it has ever been and will continue to be strong well into the future.
This donation will mean a lot to the university. It will hopefully encourage people that to donate to soccer as well as basketball and football, and it honestly puts UConn soccer also on the map and shows the importance of athletics as well as academics in our school.
We still have the best fans, we have the best environment, but it's not the best thing. And through Tony's generosity, Tony's vision, Tony's thoughtfulness, we're heading home. I do ask the people here, or the people that will hear and see this is only part of it. We need your help.
UConn hopes to have new plans for the complex by the end of this year and to break ground by December 2015. I'm Cheyenne Baker reporting for UCTV Sports.
Welcome back. So on Friday night, UConn celebrated first night. The event included a presentation of all the national championship trophies, a guest appearance from Ray Allen, as well as a scrimmage between Team Kevin and Team Gino. So Will was there to cover the event. Let's take a look.
I'm Richardson reporting from outside Gamble Pavilion, where UConn first night is about to take place. It's essentially an inter-squad scrimmage between Coach Gino Ariema and Coach Kevin. They're just going to go back and forth at each other. The men's and women's teams are evenly split. So we're going to go ahead, and fans are outside, as you can see. So we're just going to go ahead and talk to some fans and catch up on their thoughts on UConn and see what they have to say. So you guys know it's an inter-squad scrimmage. You got Team Gino, Team Kevin. Who you got?
I like Team Gino, actually. How about you, Leonard?
I'm going to go with Team Kevin.
I'm thinking Team Gino.
Kevin.
Team Kevin.
Team Kevin.
Kevin.
Gino.
Gino.
No. Team Kevin.
Team Kevin.
Team Gino.
Gino.
Kevin.
Team Gino.
Gino, no doubt. Huskies! UConn! Huskies! UConn! Huskies! Huskies! UConn!
Right.
Was it extra special tonight to be able to share it with those guys?
Absolutely. absolutely. I mean, they work so hard, and, I know it's extra special for them because they were the underdogs. So for them to come out here and, celebrate with us, and we can celebrate with them because we both accomplished something that was incredible that no other school has done. It's just incredible, and I'm glad that, all the fans were here. It was packed, and everyone got to experience the same thing at the same time.
How was the atmosphere out there tonight?
Crazy. I want a glow stick. I never got one. But it was awesome. It's kind of bittersweet since it's my first night, but, it was fun. I just got to start, season off right, and then just hopefully it ends right, too.
Reporting from inside Gamble Pavilion, where the UConn first night tonight, both the men's and women's teams decided to mix it up and have an inter-squad scrimmage for the second time. Last year was pretty successful, so they decided to go ahead and bring it back. And this year was even more competitive than the last. We saw Team Kevin and Team Gino go at it. Team Gino won by final count of 38-37. And it was just a really great game. The atmosphere was buzzing. Fans were excited for the new teams. And we saw highlights from Ryan Boatwright and Ronnie Purvis. They just played out of their minds respectively, and it was just a great game. Now they're looking forward for their seasons to start in the beginning of November. From Gamble Pavilion, I'm William Richardson, and this is UC Sports.
Thank you, Will. So on Friday night, we got to get a look at some of the new recruits for both teams. So who are you most impressed with on both sides?
Well, there were several players I was impressed with, at least for the men's team, because the women's team, they're usually always going to be dominant. At least for the men's team, UConn lost Shabazz Napier, which is obviously the leader and the captain of their team, but they've gained a lot of pieces that they didn't have last year. One of the main people was Rakeem Lubin, who is 6'8", 260 pounds, which is he's going to bring a lot to the table, especially rebounding, something the UConn Huskies did not have the entire season last year. They also had a lot of guards and a lot of big guards compared to, they only had Boatwright and Shabazz last year, 2 guards, 5'11", 6 feet, not really able to play with some of the big guards, even though they ended up winning the national championship. But they have Rodney Purvis, who's 6'4", and Sam Cassell, who's 6'4". And the last player is Daniel Hamilton, 6'7", 190 pounds. He looks to be a slasher type player who can score and go to the bucket at will, kind of like what we had with Lasan Chroma last year, but maybe even a little better. And again, these players are freshmen and sophomores, so I'm really impressed with them. As far as the women's side is concerned, Natalie Butler is the one player that stood out to me. She didn't get the ball a lot during first night, but she's going to be the replacement of Stephanie Dolson. She's 6'5", a redshirt sophomore center, and that's really going to help with Brianna Stewart down low to take care of some of the big players that they're going to be facing.
All right, thanks, Eddie. So we're going to go to commercial and be right back.
I have something I want to tell you.
So do I.
Really? You go first.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, we've been dating for a while now.
It's only been 2 months.
Yeah, I know, but really just want to tell you that I think I'm in love with you.
I met someone else.
What? Who?
We have so much in common. He comforts me when I'm lonely at night. He knows all my favorite TV shows, and his commercials are hilarious. He's the guy for me. I'm in love with him.
I love you.
Sorry.
And welcome back, guys. That's going to wrap it up for this show. Molly, so this was your first time on air. What'd you think?
Pretty good. I haven't looked at it yet, so we'll see. But
Obviously, you haven't looked at it because we've been on the show. But hopefully, it's going to come out great. You did a really good job for your first time on the show. But that wraps it up for us here. I'm William Richardson alongside Molly Burkhardt, Eddie Leonard, and Cam DeBrusk. We'll see you guys next week.